Snow was falling when Officer Ryan Cooper saw her, a little girl standing barefoot in the street, sobbing uncontrollably. "Please help. They're killing my dog," she cried, pointing toward the shadows of an old warehouse. Her voice cracked with desperation, her tiny hands trembling in the freezing air. Ryan's instincts kicked in. This wasn't just fear, it was terror. Within minutes, he'd discover a wounded German shepherd chained inside, fighting for his life, and something far darker behind it all. What started as a rescue would uncover a secret buried in cruelty and courage.
Stay till the end, because what this officer did next will break your heart.
And prove that some heroes have paws, not badges. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Snowflakes drifted through the cold evening air as Officer Ryan Cooper drove slowly down Maple Street, his headlights cutting through the fog. It was supposed to be a quiet patrol, until a sudden movement caught his eye. On the side of the road stood a little girl in a red coat, crying so hard her shoulders shook. Ryan stopped instantly and rushed toward her. Her small hand pointed down a narrow alley, trembling. "Please, they're taking my dog. They said he's dangerous, but he's not." Ryan knelt beside her, his voice calm but urgent. Hey, it's okay. What's your name?" "Lily," she sobbed. "Please, officer, they're going to kill him." Ryan's gut tightened. Something about her fear felt real, too real. He radioed dispatch to confirm any animal control units, but there were none in the area. His pulse quickened. Someone had lied. He looked back at Lily, snow glistening on her tears. "Which way did they go?" She pointed toward the abandoned warehouse lot. Her lips quivered. "Please hurry." Ryan grabbed his flashlight and nodded firmly. "Stay here, Lily, I'll bring him back." Then he ran into the cold darkness, unaware this night would change everything. Ryan's boots crunched against the frozen ground as he moved through the thick snowfall. His breath came out in visible clouds, flashlight beam cutting across the dark alleyways. Somewhere ahead, faint barking echoed, desperate, muffled, and fading fast. "Hang on, buddy," he muttered, tightening his grip on his flashlight. The sound led him to an old warehouse, its metal doors rusted and half open. He slipped inside quietly, every instinct alert. The air was cold and smelled of oil and fear. From behind a stack of crates, he heard voices. Two men arguing in hushed tones. One held a syringe, the other a leash wrapped tight around a struggling German shepherd. Ryan's pulse surged. "Police, drop it now!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the cavernous room. The men froze for a split second. Then chaos erupted. One bolted for the back exit while the other stumbled, cursing. Ryan tackled him to the ground, disarming him with trained precision. Max, the German shepherd, whimpered and thrashed against the rope until Ryan cut it loose. The dog pressed close to him, trembling but alert, his eyes filled with recognition and pain. Ryan gently stroked his fur. "You're safe now," he whispered. Outside, sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Help was coming, but the nightmare had only begun. The warmth of the police station offered little comfort as Ryan stared at the trembling dog lying beside his desk. Max's fur was matted with snow and blood, but his eyes, sharp and intelligent, followed every movement. Ryan couldn't shake the question haunting him. Who would want to harm a dog like this? He began digging into records, running the serial number from Max's microchip. What came up froze him in disbelief. The registry marked Max as deceased 3 years ago. The file photo showed the same dog, same scar. Ryan leaned back, heart pounding. How could a dead K9 be alive? Meanwhile, in the adjoining office, little Lily sat clutching a blanket, her red coat still damp. Through quiet sobs, she told Ryan the truth. Max had belonged to her late father, a decorated K9 officer killed in duty. After his funeral, Max disappeared. Weeks ago, Lily had found him wandering, wounded but alive. Ryan's chest tightened. Someone had erased this dog's identity and was willing to kill again to keep it hidden. He crouched beside Max, running a hand along his neck. "You've been through hell, haven't you, boy?" Max lifted his head weakly, pressing it against Ryan's arm. And in that silent moment, the truth began to take shape. A cover-up buried deep beneath loyalty and loss. The wind howled against the broken windows of the abandoned complex as Ryan led a small tactical team back to the warehouse. His gut told him this went deeper than 2 men and a stolen dog. Inside, they found paperwork, cages, and strange medical equipment. needles, chains, and vials labeled with animal codes. A grim realization hit him. This was a testing site. Someone had been experimenting on dogs, training them through pain to create security units. A crash echoed in the distance. Ryan's team moved fast, cornering one of the suspects trying to flee through a side door. "Talk," Ryan demanded. The man shaking blurted out, "It's not what you think. We were ordered to eliminate the ones that failed conditioning." Ryan's eyes burned with fury. He turned to see Max standing near the cages, his ears lowered, recognizing the terrified cries of other dogs. "Not anymore," Ryan said coldly. He radioed in for animal rescue and evidence units. By dawn, the warehouse was a scene of chaos. Dozens of rescued dogs, officers photographing the horror. Ryan knelt beside Max, who watched silently, eyes full of pain but also relief. "You did it, partner," Ryan whispered. "You led me right to them." And for the first time that night, Max wagged his tail. The fluorescent lights of the animal hospital flickered softly as Ryan carried Max inside, his fur damp with blood. The vet team rushed forward, lifting the German Shepherd onto the table. Lily clung to Ryan's sleeve, her eyes wide with fear. "Please don't let him die," she whispered, voice trembling. Ryan knelt beside her. "He's strong, sweetheart. Stronger than most men I know." The doctor examined Max quickly. Multiple lacerations, possible infection. He's lost a lot of blood. He turned to Ryan, worry etched on his face. "We'll do everything we can." Hours passed. The sterile hallway echoed with silence. Ryan sat on the floor outside the treatment room, Lily's small head resting on his shoulder. Every now and then they could hear muffled voices, commands, beeping machines, hurried footsteps. The uncertainty was unbearable. Then finally the door opened. The vet stepped out, exhaustion on his face. "He's stable. But it's critical. He'll need the night." Lily's tears spilled freely. "Can I stay with him?" she asked softly. The vet nodded. Inside, she took Max's paw in her tiny hands and whispered, "You promised you'd never leave me again." His tail flicked faintly. Ryan watched from the doorway, his chest tightening. Snow tapped lightly against the window as dawn approached. He whispered to himself, "Hang in there, soldier." Outside, the world slept. But inside that small clinic, hope was still fighting to survive. A week later, the town gathered outside the police precinct, where a small ceremony was held to honor bravery, not just human, but the kind that walks on four legs. Cameras flashed, reporters murmured, and a crowd formed around a little girl and her German Shepherd. Max stood tall beside Lily, wearing a gleaming medal on his collar, tail swaying gently. Officer Ryan Cooper stood nearby, pride shining through the exhaustion in his eyes. The police chief stepped forward. "For courage, loyalty, and the bond that saved lives," he announced, placing a badge on Max's vest. The crowd erupted in applause. Lily smiled through tears, wrapping her arms around her dog's neck. "We did it, Max," she whispered. "You're safe now." Reporters rushed forward, microphones in hand. One asked Lily, "What will you do now?" The little girl thought for a moment before answering softly, "I'll take care of him, just like he took care of my dad." The silence that followed said everything. As the ceremony ended, snow began to fall again, gentle, peaceful, endless. Ryan walked over and crouched beside Max, stroking his fur. "You've earned your rest, buddy," he murmured. "You saved more than one life." Lily hugged Ryan suddenly, her voice barely audible. "Thank you for believing me," he smiled. "Always." The camera panned out, a little girl in a red coat, a loyal dog beside her, and a snow-covered world around them. Voiceover. Heroes don't always wear badges. Sometimes they have paws and hearts stronger than steel. And as Max laid his head in Lily's lap, the screen faded, leaving millions wiping tears across the world.